bands, and of course, Santa. It's a Norco tradition that many locals just won't miss.
I think I just like the family by being family oriented. Everyone is so friendly. It just makes Christmas even more special.
I want to see like big stuffed animals. Since like 2 years ago, I was in a parade and my friend was in the parade and he flew me a giant teddy bear as big as his bag.
On December 6th, the Rotary of St. Charles's tree lighting took place at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center. Residents came together to see the tree lighting, enjoy some holiday treats, and get some more quality time with Santa.
The Santa sleigh is a cool little feature with Santa actually sitting there is even cooler. But I mean, having the kids going up to them and telling them what they want for Christmas is always Christmas spirit 100% of the time with that. So,
just 5 days later, it was time for the parish's senior Christmas social. Local seniors donned their best holiday garb to share a lunch, socialize, and kick up their heels to celebrate the season.
I thought that was awesome. That's really neat. Everybody's in red sweaters and festive gear.
Socializing with everybody, catching up. You know, I get a chance to catch up with a friend that's on the West Bank that I don't get a chance to see that often. So I done walked around and just talked to people and just to wish them a Merry Christmas.
And it wasn't just the adults enjoying our holiday festivities. Our final event was all about the kids. The St. Charles Toy and Gift event gave local youth a chance to get out and pick up a present or two.
I have some headphones that I think it's wireless, and I think it has Bluetooth on it.
Okay.
And like I could listen to music on it and stuff. And I think I'm gonna get the telescope that I could look at the sun. I mean, not the sun. I could look at like the moons and the planets all up in there because I kind of like the planets up there.
I always enjoy volunteering for it, to see all the kids come through and their wonderment in their eyes when they see so many toys in front of them. And it's nice that they get to pick what they want, not be told what they're going to get. And it's just an amazing event.
Our event, made possible by some very generous sponsors, no doubt made the holidays a little brighter for all involved.
the event was hands down pretty cool.
It just shows what an amazing parish we have. They take care of their people, they look out for us, and they treat us well, that's for sure.
All of these events not only provide opportunities for everyone to celebrate Christmas,
Good evening and welcome to the St. Charles Parish Council meeting on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the council chambers in the parish courthouse. Please silence all electronic devices and remove all hats. This meeting is now called to order. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the passing of Chief Tommy Baraka of Norco, Louisiana. Chief Baraka passed away on January 5th. He was born on May 19, 1951 in New Orleans, Louisiana, and was a lifelong resident of Norco. Chief Baraka is survived by his wife of 47 years, Denise, daughter Jacqueline, her husband Sean, his grandchildren Cooper and Aubrey, his sisters Ida and Francis Baraka, his mother-in-law Janet Bro, as well as numerous brothers-in-laws, sisters-in-laws, nieces, nephews, cousins, and friends. Chief Baraka achieved 43 years service in the fire service as a member on the emergency response team at Shell Norco site, and also as a member of the Norco Area Volunteer Fire Department, serving as chief of that department for several years. Chief Barreca also served as president of the St. Charles Firemen's Association. He also held the position of vice president of the Board of Commissioners of the 911 St. Charles Parish Communication District, serving 23 years as the St. Charles Parish Council representative. He was recognized in 2022 by the St. Charles Parish Council and Parish President for his many years of service to the residents of St. Charles Parish. We ask that you keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. I'd like to ask Pastor Tommy Hogan with the Calvary Baptist Church in Luling to lead us in our prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening. Lord, first we want to thank you for bringing us safely through the storms last night, and Father, for giving us a beautiful day today. And Lord, now we come to you this evening asking your hand upon our parish council and parish president. Father, that you would give wisdom and discernment as they look after the business of the people. And we do ask, Father, your hand on Chief Barreca's family during this time. Father, for your grace and your comfort. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hogan. All righty. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting, December 18, 2023. I have a motion by Ms. Wilson, second by Mr. Carmadell. Please cast your votes to approve the minutes.
We need a verbal. Showing up as yay.
Showing up.
Do you want to do a verbal?
Do a verbal when you reset it.
That's Michelle DeBroye. Can you ask if everyone voted?
Okay, we're going to do a verbal approval. Mr. Carmadell?
Yay.
Mr. Bouye?
Yay.
Mr. Pillay?
Yay.
Mr. Mobley?
Yay.
Ms. Fonseca?
Yay.
Fisher, yay. Mr. Daniels?
Yay.
Ms. Wilson?
Yay.
Ms. Seeger?
Skeeter. Yay.
All right, thank you. All right, unanimously, thank you. Hopefully we'll get this fixed. All right, special business, proclamations, canvas returns, etc. 2024-0013, a proclamation, the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Whereas it is appropriate that on January 15, 2024, we celebrate and offer special recognition to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his unselfish, nonviolent dedication to the civil rights movement. And whereas we recognize that his fortitude and dedication to the civil rights movement has carved a place for Dr. King in history for all races as a continual fight for freedom, equality, and justice. And whereas Dr. King, born in Atlanta, ordained a Baptist minister in 1954, received his doctorate from Boston University in 1955, received the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize, and became a leader of the U.S. civil rights, spoke from his heart on August 28, 1963, on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial when he gave his famous speech, "I Have a Dream." And whereas Dr. King's words rang out across America and became deeply rooted in the American dream, that we would follow the true meaning of the words of Abraham Lincoln, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, the true dream of Dr. King. And whereas Dr. King was assassinated on the balcony of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee, on April 4, 1968, marking a passage of history and understanding that Dr. King did not die in vain, but whose leadership and dreams will live on through history with the yearly celebration throughout the United States as a day of remembrance. So in remembrance of the contribution of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a leader of the civil rights movement, we, the members of the St. Charles Parish Council and the Parish President, do hereby proclaim January 15, 2024 as Martin Luther King Jr. Day in St. Charles Parish. And we have Mr. Dwayne LaGrange here to accept.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Good evening. On behalf of the Dr. Martin Luther King Commemorative Organization of St. Charles Parish, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you all for recognizing such a important day. Actually, January 15th will be Dr. King's 95th birthday. So we would like to offer an open invitation to all of our political leaders as well as the general public. We'd love to have you come and fellowship with us. Our commemorative organization is proud to say that we've been for the last 38 years. So thank you so much. And I have Mr. Eric Veenet, another board member with me, that may have a few words he'd like to say.
No, we just thank you all. Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Mr. LaGrange. Thank you, Mr. Veenet. Reports, Finance Administration Activities, 2024-0014, GIS, Geometric Information System. Mr. Martinez.
Can you hear me? Okay, it's on. All right, good afternoon, or good evening, council members, Parish President Jewell. My name is Louis Martinez. I'm the Director of the Geographic Information Systems Office. First of all, allow me to say congratulations to the new and returning members of the council. I haven't gotten around to meet some of the folks because of volleyball, travel ball with the kids takes up pretty much all my free time. So with that being said, I typically, when I have a new council group come on, I have to explain, leave a little 45-second rundown of what I do, because we're probably the smallest department, but probably the most technical department in Parish, and we provide support to some of the big players: public works, planning and zoning, waterworks, wastewater, and so on. So geographic information systems is basically a system that we have all the data centralized, where we use information from various departments to store, manipulate, analyze, process, and disseminate information either to the public or to other departments, other external agencies. If you, oh, this is the slide here. Okay, so I just on the presentation, I have a little graphic that shows we usually, if you look at tabular information in the spreadsheet, it's pretty hard to really visualize anything meaningful out of it. So we typically, with the geographic information system, it's like looking at layers of information, and we can look at the spatial relationships of data, like stuff on the ground. So for example, we do a lot of drainage surveying, a lot of it. Yeah, that's pretty much what we do day in, day out. So if you look at a spreadsheet, it doesn't say much, but if you look at the information of the spreadsheet and on a profile, you can see you start meaning a little more. And then if you integrate it with other stuff like imagery or elevation data, they get something more like this. So this is something I started outputting to Public Works just recently. It's like a surface model, so we can actually integrate and fuse the elevation data, all the drainage data that we have in a database, and have the ability to identify potential flood-prone areas on the ground, stuff that you can't really see with your eyes or just even looking at the flow of water in a ditch. So that's one of the just a very small part of what we do. I mean, we do. When I first came on board, I said I wanted to map out everything on the ground. We've mapped out pretty much every water valve, every water fitting, all the wastewater lift stations, manholes. You have to open everything up, measure things. So it's been 15 years of grueling work, but we've probably got it all done about 3 years ago. So so we have all the data centralized now. Before we had everything, the data, like Waterworks had all their data set, all their own data. Wastewater planning had their own data. So when data's all over the place, it's hard to have the most updated stuff. So it's sitting in different places. Somebody might not send the right address to somebody and end up with a big, you could see how things start snowballing and turn into a mess. But so we've integrated all the data into one location, and that's where we do we house the data and we actually provide like web services maps to, like web maps to citizens and the other departments that they use on a daily basis in their workflows. So drainage, for example, could come in and like zoom into a certain area and they could see what the drainage infrastructure looks like for a particular area. And they can see, we're working on actually creating like profiles where you can click on a street and it'll generate a curve like I showed in the other slide before. So instead of having to like call me up and asking for, hey, what's the drainage profile, what's the drainage doing on a particular street, you click on a map and it'll be able to provide that for you. So this just kind of goes back, it's just a graphic trying to show how we integrate with all the other departments in the parish. So a lot of the stuff that we do, for example, is tied into decision-making processes. So when the comprehensive flood model came about, instead of having to wait for all the information to be surveyed, we already had it ready to hand over to the engineers, and as accurate as we can get, and then we were able to, jump ahead of the model and process. So in 2023, we kind of had an unprecedented revamp of the entire system. So I've been there 15 years, and this is the first time that I've actually been able to sit down and design the system to what I want to do for the future. We've usually built a system for immediate use. So it's kind of like putting it together. It worked. It was clunky, but it worked, But now I've actually I incorporated professional services to bring in some help, and we're able to clean up the system and tailor it to how we need it to grow in the future. So I sent out a report yesterday. I think we have over 300 layers and tables and well over 1.5 million points in the database. So it's a lot of data to manage and stuff. So now we migrated everything to the new data center in the EOC, and we have we just started last year, updating the drainage database again. So we're starting in Norco, making our way back across the East Bank, updating everything. So a lot of it entails us riding up. We would look at the map of what we have, ride up and down the street. Okay, this is new. This is not. It shouldn't have to happen that way, but we're doing it. So we're sweeping the whole parish, going back across and capturing the data. And for 2024, with such a fancy system in place, we need to have something that we can monitor it with now. So we've started building like dashboards and monitoring other application systems that we can monitor the performance of the database. So if there is something that's going wrong, we can catch it ahead of time, rather than what we had happen before it crashed and we found out the hard way. So other things that we're going to be working on is, since we're tied very closely with drainage, we identified several areas that we'd like to see staff gauges. So a lot of times we'll just go and measure the water elevation and install the staff gauge to the correct elevation across the parish that's tied into the telemetry system. So it's not like we're all comparing apples to apples, not having different people's set elevations at different depths or something. So we know exactly what those elevations are. And like I said, we're going to continue updating the GIS, the drainage database. And there's, like I said, this is just kind of a brief overall coverage of what we do, but it's, I look forward to working with you guys. I know I've worked with a lot of the council members before very closely. So if you have any questions or information, I'm pretty easy to get in touch with. My cell phone's probably the best way to reach me, but if you have any questions, that's all I have.
Louis, thank you. President Jewell.
Louis, I just want to thank you because what I like to call a couple of our departments ISPs, internal service providers, and that's what GIS does. As much as we can, if Waterworks opens up a hole and they have to replace a valve, we actually want to go and set that probe on that pipe, on that valve, and get an exact marker on it, instead of kind of probing and figuring out exactly where that, getting a general idea of where that pipe is. So as much as they can, they try to when the ground is open or when we're doing stuff within drainage to catch all of those changes. Obviously, it's a small department, and all the departments were working at different paces. So in the future, as we go on, we want to look to expand on the work that they provide, because it really is invaluable when it comes to, people working in the parish, other contractors, and helping us avoid infrastructure headaches with other contractors. But we're going to look forward to potentially implanting someone from GIS in Public Works, implanting someone from GIS into Waterworks and wastewater and so forth, or having a shared employee who can work across those departments.
Thanks.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Louis, I can't say thank you enough for the work that you and your department have done over all these years. It's like Parish President Jewell said, been invaluable. The mapping of all the infrastructure in the parish. Things that are data that's now at the tip of our fingers, whereas before you'd have to go out in the field, locate it. So thank you.
Thanks. I didn't mention, and I do have a hub. I call it a GIS hub. It's a front end to the database. I'll be sending it out. It's kind of like a website, but it ties directly into the database, so we can make a change in the field. We're tied in with a cell service now, so as we make changes, things are showing up live. So it's gonna. I think I'm going to send Bob the hub by. Well, he tried it out, but it's instead of having to say, "Oh, click on this map for water, click on this map for wastewater or drainage," it's one page. Everything's on there, and you just pick whatever you want to see on whatever map you want to choose or data set. So I'll be sending out. Works in Kingston.
Yeah.
So. Louis, I'd really like to commend you and your people. I don't know of any other regional GIS department that has your capabilities. I'm sure they use contractors. You have in-house people. 5 years ago, I met you when I was asking, silly me, I asked for a drawing of the drainage system, and they gave me an 11 by 17 drawing with everything on it. You couldn't read a thing. So I got tied to you, and you went to bat and was able to give me access to the drainage portion of your database, which I've used a lot, and I've learned how the contractors use that as well. But I got to commend you in the work I've seen in the field that your people do. Fantastic. Keep it up. Your vision is fantastic as well. I'm sure you'll make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you, too. Like I said, I've been a beneficiary of a lot of that stuff, information. I know after you told me stop sending Google Maps with paint on it, let me show you how the real stuff works. And it's so good to have the information. When somebody calls and asks and they got a drainage issue, we can pull it up. Your department has been super. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years, too. So thank you, and thank all you people for us.
I sure will. Can't do it without them.
All righty. 2024-0015, Grants Office. Ms. Chesson.
Hello and good evening. Welcome to the new council members and welcome back to the council members returning. For those who don't know, I am Carla Chasson and I'm the director of the Grants Office. So our office is mission is to actively pursue grant funding and manage any existing grant funding that comes to the parish for our parish projects and programs. So my office is staffed with 5 individuals. It's a team effort in our office, and it takes all of us to get things done. So I want to definitely recognize them in their efforts. So for us to get things done, I kind of put together a little of what do we do, what goes on behind the grants. And so starting off, we prepare and submit grant applications for our projects. We do that for federal, state, and local grant programs that become available. Most of the funding we work with comes from the federal government, and there's a variety of programs that we submit to that are annual programs, and some of them are one-time programs, and others are disaster-driven. So you'll see a lot of that later on in my presentation with the influx of money from Hurricane Ida. So we do a lot of research in looking up grant opportunities and different projects and seeing how they maybe would meet the grant opportunities and metrics that the grants want you to meet. We manage the different funding agreements. We complete, once a project is awarded, if it's required, we do environmental assessments and make sure that the project isn't going to affect anything environmentally negatively affect anything environmentally. We assist with ensuring that everything is procured properly. Once the project gets underway, we follow the expenses that are made for the projects, and we request reimbursement for those. And we work with the finance department to make sure that the revenue is accounted for properly. We do the project reporting, whether that's monthly, quarterly, annually. Every year, we also have a section in the parish's annual financial audit that we put together for the parish's federal expenses. We complete project amendment requests when there's a scope of work change or if we need to adjust the budget in any type of way. Sometimes we have to hold public hearing whenever the grants require that we get citizen input on different projects and money and what we should be doing with that. We monitor payrolls on some of our construction projects to make sure that the workers are being paid prevailing wages when there's requirements under the Davis-Bacon Act. When we get money from HUD, they require that we ensure that their efforts are being met for fair housing, disadvantaged business enterprises, and ADA compliance across the parish. Our office also administers two of the biggest programs for our office is the Elevation Program and the FEMA Public Assistance Program. For the Elevation Program, we work with homeowners to elevate their houses to stop them from flooding. And the Public Assistance Program is for us to get all the money spent on a disaster to get it reimbursed through FEMA. And we maintain relationships with these funding agencies and key personnel there. And sometimes we serve on steering committees. So in working with the council, you'll see me come before you mainly with resolutions. I have to get sometimes some council resolutions in support of the grant applications we're submitting. And sometimes I have to come to you to get approval for the parish to enter into a funding agreement. Sometimes, more rarely, I come before you with a policy that needs to be adopted in order to implement the grant. And when it comes to ordinances, we have used consultants for some of our complex programs, which are the Public Assistance Program, our Community Development Block Grant Program, and the Elevations. Looking back at 2023, it was a record year for the Grants Office. We had $59.3 million in funding come to St. Charles Parish for almost 100 different projects. I like to categorize our grant awards in 3 different categories. We got the competitive funds. That is when we submit an application and we compete against either statewide or nationwide for dollars. And last year we secured $11.8 million in competitive funds. The allocated funding, we've been getting a lot of money allocated to St. Charles Parish following Hurricane Ida for disaster recovery. And you'll see public assistance, that is the money that we recover for expenses made to respond to hurricanes and other disaster events. So I like to plot our projects on this graphic. It's the life cycle of a grant because it kind of gives a good picture of where all of our projects stand in our office. And altogether, we're working on $225 million in funds. That's split with $110 million that we're trying to bring into the parish, and that's in the pre-award phase. And then post-award, we have $115 million that we're currently managing. So the first 2 phases are project development and identifying funding. So we work with the departments constantly going back and forth on what projects they have that are going on and looking at different grant opportunities and kind of working together to figure out what works together. So currently we are working on 5 applications for submission and then also another $18 million in FEMA public assistance for Hurricane Ida that is still in the works. For applications that we've submitted already, we're waiting to find out the fate of about $69 million. That includes applications for drainage projects, elevation projects, a generator upgrade, employee safe room, and some low-income housing preservation projects. And I'm confident we'll see the award of about $35 million of that. So we have $19 million that we're currently processing the award for. And the most recent and largest award of that 19 is coming up later on tonight in the agenda with $15 million in disaster recovery funding from the Louisiana Watershed Initiative for 2 drainage projects in the St. Rose area. So we've got some grant projects that have already received funding, and we're working to get those projects started. That includes the CN Railroad Culvert Improvement Project. We have some residential elevation projects, the Sunset Pump Station Bar Screen Expansion Project, the boat launch in Des Allemands, and for projects that are ongoing, and we're working on the award management and getting money reimbursed. We've got over $73 million in that category. So we've got large construction projects going on. Is going to be the West Bank Bridge Park, the West Bank Spray Park, the Destrehan 2 Pump Station Improvement Projects. We're about to issue notice to proceed on the Engineers Canal Bank Stabilization Project, the Des Allemands Bulkhead Project, and there's the 2 major transportation projects, the LA 52 sidewalks and the Lakewood resurfacing project. And then we also have a substantial amount of money in that $73 million that represents the public assistance money that we're trying to get from FEMA for Hurricane Ida. So, and we have some money in closeout, and that kind of lingers a little bit, but we're working on getting those. So the next slide is about the St. Charles Parish Elevation Program. In addition to juggling all the millions of dollars that we work on, we also manage the elevation program, and the way this program works is FEMA provides funding through the parish for eligible properties that are considered repetitive loss. So we currently have 2 open grant awards that represents about $10 million. The FY19 grant that's open, we have about 14 more projects left to complete, and the FY20 award we just kicked off late last year, the last quarter. And we're hoping that, we're expecting some homeowner documentation to start rolling in probably this month to get some of those projects underway. So this is my last slide to talk about for the Hurricane Ida disaster recovery funding. I'll probably show this to you every year to kind of give you a picture of what's going on, because I think it's going to go on at least until for your first term. So these are all the programs that is currently dedicating money to St. Charles Parish, and it's a total of $72 million from Hurricane Ida. And so 3 of these programs cover the expenses to actually respond to and recover from Hurricane Ida. When you think about the debris removal, the response to the immediate response to the storm, and then any damages that were actually caused by the storm. But 2 of these programs, the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program and the Resilient Communities Infrastructure Program, is for mitigation projects that are tied to the storm because they can reduce future losses, but they weren't anything that was like damaged by the storm. So we've submitted applications to each of these programs, and I'm thinking this year that we're going to receive the approval on those, and those projects will get started with either design or construction once we get the approval. So I'm sure you'll see the list of these projects, through your first term. So that concludes my report, and if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Carla. President
You're
Jewell.
welcome.
Carl, I just want to say thanks to you and your staff for the hard work y'all do. When we came in, we were very aggressive on this, and then when we had Hurricane Ida, we felt the need to expand the staff. So I believe when I started, it was just a staff of 3, and now we're a staff of 5. And these ladies have plenty enough work to sustain them. And just to give you an idea of how long some of these FEMA processes take, when I came in, we were still talking about an open PW from Hurricane Katrina with the hospital. I don't know if that's been resolved yet. Okay, great. But we still have Hurricane Barry open items.
That was just awarded late in December.
Look at
Merry
that.
Christmas.
So just to give you an idea of how long and bureaucratic that FEMA process is, not only is it through FEMA, it's also through GOSEP. So you will be hearing about PW's project worksheets for Hurricane Ida for a long time, unfortunately. But these ladies do a great job of not only sustaining all of that work, but tackling all the other opportunities that come out as well. So thanks.
Thank you.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carla, I'd also like to thank you. I know how hard the job is because for those of you who are new, I was Carla's predecessor. And when I was hired, there was one person in the grants office until I hired Carla. and we grew the office to the 3 people prior to my departure in 2016. And so it is a very fast pace and a lot of moving parts, and but it's well worth it. And I think our parish has something special. Having a grants office, a lot of parishes don't, and they don't bring in the funds that we do competitively. So kudos to you and your staff, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Yes, that's why I like to highlight, this is what we're doing competitively, because we can manage all the money that comes in and the money, you know, going back and getting money after the event. But if we don't go after the competitive things, we're missing out. So,
Mr. Perrier.
Carl, I'd like to thank you guys for what you do. I have a whole new outlook on what you do. Being in one of the FMA programs myself, I see what you have to go through and obviously what we have to go through, but it's a good program and it helps a lot of people. I'm on the list, so thank you very much for what you do.
you're welcome.
Carl, I want to thank you too. I had several residents who expressed thanks over the last weekend on River Point, River Village with the raising stuff. $59 million, that's something to be proud of. And thank you and your department for what you do every day.
Thank you.
All right, 2024-0016, the parish president's remarks report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations to all of our new council members. It was great to be with you all on Sunday for the inauguration. I'm going to start today's report by talking about the Waterworks Billing Office. We were able to reopen the billing office today. Our Waterworks customer service team is officially back on the job in their normal building. If you're familiar with the Waterworks site property, there was a small building in the back next to our plant that all of our employees were working out of after Hurricane Ida. And of course, having to go through the insurance issues and all the other things that we've had to go through, it delayed our ability to get back in this office, but we're back in. We took the opportunity to reorganize the layout of the building and really maximize the space for our employees. Enter the front building at Milling and 3rd Street in Luling is where the address is. Tuesday through Thursday, 8:30 to 11, and 12 to 4 to pay bills or speak to customer service. We look forward to bringing you to this building and the Waterworks plant when we do our infrastructure tour, and we may just take the opportunity to go ahead and do a ribbon cutting while we're there. So, Christmas tree recycling and coastal restoration. As we do every year, crews are collecting trees curbside through Thursday. Residents can also still drop off their trees at the East and West Bank Bridge Parks until Thursday, January 11th. The following trees cannot be recycled: flocked trees, artificial trees, painted trees, or trees with lights, garland, tinsel, or ornaments, stands, or in bags. So we ask that our residents take all of those things off the trees and bring them to the West Bank Bridge Park, or have them picked up in front of their homes if they put them curbside. Want to give you guys an update on Barber Road construction. I know that looks like a big mess, and that's because it is. Command Construction has been replacing cross culverts that go underneath Barber Road from the neighborhood and are connecting those back to the canal. And so you have the street torn up in several locations, and they're also starting to add sheet piling from South Street to Kirk Street. That's about 800 feet. The total distance that they're going to be doing in this phase is about 1,500 feet of sheet pile, and I believe it goes from south all the way down to, I'm trying to think of that last street. What's that? Wisner. Thank you, Willie. It's actually my note right there. South Street to Wisner. So this will help stabilize the bank. This is technically phase 2 of this total project. Phase 1 is up by J.B. Martin and goes down, but we decided to start with phase 2 because of the necessity and condition of the road in that area. So Many days, it's going to be only one lane passable, and there several times command does have to close down the road, so we do send out periodic updates on Facebook or to the fire departments and our first responders to let them know that it's not passable in some spots. WIOA has a new application process. That's our workforce investment office. It's called Let's Work River Parishes, and it's implementing their new application process and assisting to provide employment services to residents of St. Charles, St. James, and St. John the Baptist. This can include resume and job assistance, referrals to partners, labor market information, and training to find employment. They had a program last year that was very successful, which I know they're trying to get money for again, which was the CDL training program for residents in the river parishes. Tommy Scott is our director in WIOA. It's located on Paul Mallard. And if you have anybody who's interested, please direct them towards Tommy Scott, and we can get you more information on that. Want to take a moment to just acknowledge our Public Works Office and our MS4 program. Recently, the Department of Environmental Quality sent a letter of commemoration and, I guess originally they sent a letter of condemnation and asking for improvement in recent years of our MS4 program. This was many years ago, and the parish over the years has really turned around our MS4 program. And if you're wondering what MS4 stands for, that's Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems Program. But again, before 2014, MS4's program was managed by an outside company, which LDEQ deemed insufficient, but under the supervision of Mr. John Gutierrez, our MS4 coordinator, our program has really turned around, and we will be acting as a mentor to nearby parishes that need help getting its program off the ground. So the program really ensures that our stormwater in the parish is not contaminated by sewage or other spills, and this is significant because all of our stormwater ends up in navigable waterways and in habitats that are sensitive. So we just want to say kudos to John Gutierrez, Miles, and the whole Public Works team for the work that they do, making that program a success. Over to the animal shelter. The animal shelter has furry family members ready to go. Our animal shelter is currently beyond its capacity of dogs in its care. They have 33 dog runs, but 38 dogs. So some are bunking up while they wait to be adopted. If you're looking to add to your family, please consider visiting the animal shelter and viewing pet profiles for our adoptable animals online. I look forward to bringing you guys to the animal shelter so you can see what a professional organization it is and see the process that animals go through before they are deemed to be adoptable. We also work with companies like Petco that will help us get dogs and cats adopted. And there's another company called Wings of Rescue, which is a nonprofit, that help us connect animals across the country to shelters that maybe are lacking animals that could be adopted. So we use all of the necessary tools at our disposal to get our animals out of the shelter and into homes. Just last but certainly not least, I will at least once a month update the council on sales tax numbers. Sales tax numbers for the month of November are down 25.41% from November 2022, and that puts us for 2023 still up 1.59%. We will have to see what the December numbers look like to get our final year-over-year comparison. That is the conclusion of my report.
Yes, thank you. I just want to know what is the status on River Park's drainage.
I know we have been working with the family members down there. We recently did a cross culvert a little bit further up the street Lysandra, I don't know the exact address of where that was, but that was to help siphon off some water from that right-hand side and get it over to the left-hand side of the street as you're going towards the back of the street. We do have a project to replace the culverts on the 5-foot servitude down the right-hand side of the street. I think we have nearly all of our right of entries.
Yes.
There is, I think, just one or so.
One person is still needs to be signed on the line, and then we'll be able to do the project.
Yeah, and so we'll be moving that forward. I think they may even have started stacking pipes back there yet. I don't know if they have or not. Someone
I'm not
had
sure
mentioned
about that.
So it's, that project will be done one way or the other, but we are trying to get everybody's sign off before we start.
Okay, so that one person that we're waiting on, is it soon?
We're trying to work out details with him so that we can get into their backyard.
Okay.
All righty. Ordinances, resolutions introduced for publication, public hearing, Monday, January 22nd, 2024, 6 p.m., Council Chambers Courthouse, Hanville, 2024-0017. Ordinances scheduled for public hearing introduced at a previous meeting, 2023-0229, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Alpha Testing and Inspection to perform testing services for the Primrose Canal Cleaning and Improvements, project number P210202, not to exceed the amount of $26,000. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Council Chair. This is something that we do for all construction projects. We do a independent testing lab so that we get the data ourselves rather than going to the engineer, going to the contractor. We want it to be our contractor, so we're getting the information directly from them. And this one is for Primrose Canal. This is the first phase of that project, and we're looking forward to getting that project started. And we need this so that we can start the monitoring of vibrations in that area when the project starts.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2023-0229 is now open for public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item? Please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0229. And that motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda, 2023-0363, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental cooperative endeavor agreement among St. Charles Parish Hospital, St. Charles Parish School Board, the St. Charles Parish Sheriff Department, the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, and St. Charles Parish for the Hurricane Ida Recovery Fund. Ms. Chesson.
Thank you. So last year, St. Charles Parish received $4 million from the state of Louisiana, of which $1 million was an allocation for St. Charles Parish, and the rest of it is pass-through funding that the parish is operating as a fiduciary agent for the aforementioned agencies. So these funds are for the local share portion of the FEMA Public Assistance Project worksheets, and each entity is working with the state to get their projects reviewed and approved. This agreement that you have before you tonight is necessary for the parish to actually release those funds to these agencies after the state approval. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Ms. Chesson. File number 2023-0363 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0363. And that passes with 8 yeas. 9 yeas, excuse me, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me, Ms. Impostata. A lot of practice. All right, next on our agenda, 2023-0365, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with MB3 Incorporated, DBA Civics, to perform consulting services for right-of-way acquisitions and program management, project number 20P230901, in the not-to-exceed amount of $150,000. Mr. Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is something that we need going forward with a lot of projects. We have found that we are acquiring property for drainage servitudes, roadway improvements, et cetera. And when we get into those, we can do all the appraisals, the abstracts and everything, but when we get to the negotiation part, it becomes a little more difficult for us. And these people will help us with that negotiation part of the project. They will be given individual task orders for individual properties. And so this is something that we need to continue to do the work that we're doing, and we would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Mr. Bingham. File number 2023-0365 is now open for public hearing. If there is anyone who would like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Mr. Piguet.
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question, Miles. The $150,000 is not to exceed. Is that sufficient to do all the things you think you have on your plate right now? Just curious.
It really depends on how much we get to this year. I mean, this is one of those contracts where we put in a number that we think will cover it. We may go under, we may go over. If we have to go over, we will come back to the council and ask for this to be amended.
Ms. Wilson.
Yes, thank you. So this is not a certain project like this P230901. This is not like for a particular.
Every contract that we have has a contract number in Public Works. So this is our Public Works project number. This will serve for many projects with different numbers. But when we actually acquire the property, we will charge those funds to that particular project. But this project itself is an individual project within our system so that we can track this line item of work.
Okay. All right. So my next question is, so we have the 150 to not to exceed the 150, but then in the on the rate plan, it has that an increase of 3% is going to happen in the second and the third year. So, on attachment C.
If we got to a second or third year in this, that will actually go into effect. This is, that is to protect them from inflation, just like everybody else. But as I said, each assignment will be a task order. They will give us a fee proposal. We will review it. If we believe that it is agreeable, we will issue a task order with that number, with the amount in it, and they will only be able to charge that amount. So the not to exceed is just an upset limit for us to work against.
And if I may, as you see in attachment C, the not to exceed is $150,000. Each task order has the hourly billing rates. The hourly billing rates will increase to 3% in years 2 and years 3. However, the total amount of the contract over the 3-year period cannot exceed the $150,000. So as Mr. Bingham and the Public Works Department need these services for an individual project, then we issue a task order.
So this is more like a retainer fee.
It's a professional services fee, correct. It's a retainer type fee.
Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've utilized Civics for many, many years for these services. They were formerly known as GCR Incorporated. So, as Mr. Ube mentioned, you give them a not to exceed, and then whatever task order, whatever project you put them on, they'll bill at the hourly rate. And then if there's still money left on this contract in years 2 and 3, those rates will go up by those percents, and they'll start to bill off of the new increased rates. We don't have the staff in-house to be able to do this sort of professional service, and it becomes really important to utilize their service when we were dealing with a lot of land acquisition with the levies, and also when there's a grant project involved. There's a certain process you have to go through, federal regulations, and if you don't follow that process, you can jeopardize your grant funding. So they're experts at this, and I can't speak of them highly enough. So I would ask for your support for this. Thank you.
Mr. Jewell.
Thanks. I just want to mention, too, that this is the company we use when we have our more complicated properties, our larger properties. When we have smaller properties acquiring small rights of way where there's no contesting it, or we know that there's a clean title and we don't have to do a lot of that abstract research and stuff like that, which for the smaller properties, we will do that within the legal department. So I want you to understand, like when we acquire a small piece of property, we're not going and utilizing this $150,000 for this. This is really when we're looking at like a pump station and we need to acquire a right-of-way or a servitude, and you have 50 people who own the property, and there's a lot of title research that requires a lot of time. That's when we don't want to tie up our legal department or hire outside counsel or outside an outside firm to do this for every single project. We probably get a little bit better benefit by having a kind of a lump sum, not to exceed contract and being able to use them. And as Ms. Fonseca said, the formerly GCR, pretty much for all the levee work that was done on the West Bank and some of it on the East Bank as well were through this company. So they're familiar with St. Charles Parish, and we have a great working relationship with them.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. Any more council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0365. And that passes with 9 yeas. All right, next on the agenda, 2023-0366, an ordinance to amend the 2023 consolidated operating and capital budget to adjust beginning fund balances to actuals and to adjust revenues and expenditures in various funds. Mr. Dewsome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is our annual final budget amendment. I'll put a little asterisk next to this. Normally, we do this in March or April of every year after our books have been officially closed and we know exactly what those numbers come out, because we are required to come within plus or minus 5% of our expenditures of budget to actual. And typically what happens every year, in January, February, March, we'll get invoices. Sometimes we'll even receive revenues that are related to the previous year that will set us out of that 5%. Plus or minus 5%. So that's why we usually wait until that March or April time frame, and then it's right when the start of the audit begins, so everything's in the right order. But we have been requested to do this earlier, which is why we're doing this tonight. So the hope is that this will be the final, but we may have a final if one of those guys slip through there. But what this accomplishes is to officially close out the 2023 budget and just let us move forward into 2024. And we do this every year for each budget to close it out and just move on to the next. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Dewsome. File number 2023-0366 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone wishing to come up and speak regarding the item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to do so. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes for file number 2023-0366. And that passes with 9 yeas.
Thank you.
Ordinances, resolutions which have been tabled. Does anyone want to remove any files from the table? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on. All right, next. 2024-0018, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a cooperative endeavor agreement by and between the state of Louisiana through the Office of Community Development and St. Charles Parish for funding in the amount of $15 million. Ms. Chasson.
So, thank you. This is the funding agreement for the $15 million in Disaster Recovery Fund. Community Development Block Grant Funding. And this is from the August 2016 flooding events. This is just, I just want to say that to kind of give you an idea of like how long these disaster recovery dollars kind of go on. And so this is going to be going to some drainage improvement projects in the St. Rose area, and your approval is necessary for us to enter into this agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson.
You're welcome.
File number 2024-0018 is now open for public comment. If there's anyone who'd like to come up and speak regarding this item, please do so now. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there any council discussion? Ms. O'Daniels.
Ms. Chasson, thank you so much for bringing this to the council. St. Rose has been waiting a long time for drainage improvements. We're desperate for them, and we know this process is going to be long, but we appreciate your hard work to get this started.
Thank you. So where we are now is we've submitted the pre-applications. Once we get the funding agreement in place, we're going to move forward with the full applications on these. And it is a process. We're going to have some design and H&H studies needing to be complete. So I would say construction later on next year, I would say.
Okay, well, thank you for managing our expectations.
You're welcome.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
Any other council discussion? Saying that, please cast your votes for file number 2024-0018. And that motion passes with 9 yeas. All righty, we're going to move on to the next part of our agenda is going to be appointments. Please proceed with any request or motions to close nominations in accordance with Rule number 40. Rule number 40 is a motion to close nominations for the appointment of council chairman and council vice chairman, as well as any appointment of an individual to a committee, office, board, or agency shall not be permitted until each council member present at the meeting and within his or her nominating authority has sufficient opportunity to submit an individual to be nominated. Prior to a request or a motion to close nominations, the presiding officer of the council shall verbally confirm that all members have had the opportunity to submit an individual nomination. And as you remember, we passed that at our business meeting. Okay. So our first appointment, 2024-0019, council ex officio appointment for the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control. The council chairman should name a council member to act as an ex officio member of the St. Charles Parish Library Board of Control. The president of the police jury shall be ex officio a member of the Board of Control for such public library, provided, however, that the president of the police jury shall have the right to designate another member of the governing authority of the parish to serve in his place and instead on the Board of Control for such public library, RS 25-214, for a one-year term to begin July 9th, 2024, and expire January 6, 2025. I'm going to ask for nominations. Ms. Wilson.
Yes, I would like to nominate Councilwoman Fonseca.
All right, I have Ms. Holly Fonseca. Has everyone had the opportunity? All right. I need a motion and a second to close. I have a motion by Ms. Wilson, second by Mr. Puryear. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9 yeas. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Councilwoman Holly Fonseca for the ex officio appointment to the Library Board of Control. And that passes with 9. Congratulations, Ms. Fonseca. All right, our next appointment, 2024-0020, ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Planning and Zoning Commission. The term is concurrent with the governing authority 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have some nominations? Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Mr. Walter Pilier.
Do everyone had opportunity to nominate? All righty. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Mr. Fisher. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes unanimously. All right, please cast your votes to confirm the nomination of Mr. Walter Pilier for the ex officio appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And that motion passes with 9 yeas. Congratulations, Mr. Pilier. All right, our next appointment, 2024-0021, ex officio appointment to the St. Charles Parish Housing Authority, a one-year term to begin January 9th, 2024, and expire January 9th, 2025. Do I have any nominations? Mr. Pilier.
I was having a problem with the button. I'd like to nominate Michelle DeBrouillet for that position.
All right. Has everyone had opportunity for nominations? All righty. I need a motion and a second to close nominations, please. I have a motion by Mr. Pilier, second by Ms. Skiba to close nominations. Please cast your vote to close nominations. And that passes with 9 yeas. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. Michelle DeBrouillet for the ex officio appointment to the Housing Authority. And that passes with 9 yeas. Congratulations, Mr. Bouillet. All right, 2024-0022, Council ex officio appointment to the Hospital Service District Number 1, Parish of St. Charles. Term concurrent with the governing authority 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have some nominations? Ms. Wilson.
Yes, I would like to nominate Holly Fonseca.
All right. Has everyone had opportunity to nominate? All right. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. O'Daniels, second by Ms. Wilson. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9s. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. Fonseca for the ex officio appointment to the Hospital Service District Number 1. And that passes with 9. Congratulations, Ms. Fonseca. All right, 2024-0023, ex officio appointment to the Board of Directors for the Ark of St. Charles. The term is concurrent with the governing authority 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. I have some nominations. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Heather Skiba.
All righty. Has everyone had the opportunity to nominate? Okay. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, a second by Mr. Pilier to close nominations. Please cast your votes to close. And that passes with 9. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. Heather Skiba for the ex officio to the Ark of St. Charles. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Ms. Skiba. Okay, 2024-0024, council appointment to the Community Action Advisory Board. Public official appointment term is concurrent with the governing authority 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations? Mr. Commodore.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Ms. Michelle DeBure.
All righty. Has everyone had opportunity for nominations? All right. I need a motion and a second to close nominations, please. I have a motion by Mr. Commodore, second by Mr. Pilier. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. Michelle DeBrouillet for the council appointment to the Community Action Advisory Board. And that motion passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Mr. DeBrouillet. 2024-0025, the council appointment to the Community Action Advisory Board. Public official appointment term is concurrent with the governing authority, 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations? Ms. Skiba.
Yes, I would like to nominate Councilman Willie Cormedale for that position.
All righty. Does anyone else have any nominations? Okay, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. O'Daniel, second by Ms. Wilson to close nominations. Please cast your vote. And that motion passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Mr. Commodore for the council appointment to the Community Action Advisory Board. And that motion passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Mr. Commodore. Okay, next on our list is 2024-0026. It's the council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Council. It's a 2-year term to begin January 9, 2024 and expire January 9, 2026. May I have a nominations? Mr. Mobley.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Ms. Wilson for that position.
All right. Have any more nominations? Okay. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Mr. Mobley and a second by Mr. Brouillet. Please cast your vote to close the nominations. That passes with 9 votes. Please cast your votes to confirm the nomination of Ms. Wilson for the council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Council. And that motion passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Ms. Wilson. 2024-0027, it's a council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Committee. 2-year term to begin January 9, 2024 and expire January 9, 2026. May I have nominations? Ms. Skiba.
Yes, I would like to nominate Councilman Mike Mobley for that position.
Okay. Have any other nominations? All right. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Skiba, second by Ms. Fonseca. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your votes to confirm the nomination of Mr. Mike Mobley for the council appointment to the RSVP Advisory Council. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Mr. Mobley. Next, 2024-0028, council appointment to the St. Charles Parish Retiree Benefits Funding Trust, the Board of Trustees. The term is concurrent with the governing authority, 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate Heather Skiba for the St. Charles Parish Retiree Benefits Funding Trust.
All righty. Is there any other nominations? Okay, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Mr. Bruyere, second by Mr. Mobley. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. Heather Skiba for the council appointment to the Retirees Benefits Funding Trust Board of Trustees. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Councilwoman Skiba. 2024-0029, council appointment to the St. Charles Parish Retirees Benefit Funding Trust, the Board of Trustees. The term is concurrent with the governing authority, 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations?
Yes, Chairman Fisher, I would like to nominate Mr. Mobley for the Board of Trustees, Parish Retiree Benefit Funding Trust.
All righty. Is there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. O'Daniels, second by Mr. Commodore. Please cast your votes to close nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Mr. Mike Mobley for the council appointment to the Retirees Benefits Funding Trust Board of Trustees. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Mr. Mobley. 2024-0030, a council appointment to the Regional Planning Commission. The term is concurrent with the government authority, 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations? Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Councilwoman O'Daniels.
All right, is there any other nominations? Okay, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Wilson to close nominations. Please cast your votes to close the nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Ms. O'Daniels for the council appointment to the Regional Planning Commission. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations, Ms. O'Daniels. 2024-0031, the council appointment to the Regional Planning Commission. The term is concurrent with the governing authority, 1/9/2024 to 1/9/2028. May I have nominations? Mr. Pilier.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate you, Bob Fisher, for that position on the Regional Planning Commission.
Do I have any other nominations? Okay, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Mr. Pilier, second by Ms. O'Daniels to close nominations. Please vote to close nominations. And that passes with 9 votes. Please cast your vote to confirm the nomination of Bob Fisher for the council appointment to the Regional Planning Commission. And that passes with 9 votes. Thank you all very much for the support. All right, 2024-0032, a resolution confirming the appointment of Mr. Ryan E. Burks as a member of the Port of Southeast Louisiana Commission. We confirm Mr. Ryan E. Burks, Commissioner of Port of South Louisiana, to fill the vacancy on the Port of South Louisiana Commission caused by the expiration of the term of Mr. Ryan E. Burks. The term to begin immediately and expire January 9, 2028. The term is concurrent with the governing authority. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Mr. Ryan E. Burks to the Port of Louisiana, South Louisiana Commission. And that passes with 9 votes. 2024-0033, a resolution confirming the appointment of Ms. Lysandra D. Wilson as a representative to the South Central Planning and Development Commission. To fill a vacancy on the South Central Planning Commission created by the expiration of the term of Ms. Beth A. Billings. The term to begin immediately and expire January 9, 2028. The term is concurrent with the governing authority. Our nominee is Ms. Lysandra D. Wilson. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Councilwoman Lysandra D. Wilson to the South Central Planning and Development Commission. And that passes with 9 votes. 2024-0034, a resolution to confirm the appointment of Mr. Willie Commodell as a representative to the South Central Planning and Development Commission. To fill a vacancy on the South Central Planning and Development Commission caused by the expiration of the term of Ms. Marilyn B. Belloc. Term to begin immediately and expire January 9, 2028. The term is concurrent with the governing authority. Our nominee, Mr. Willie Commodell. Please cast your votes to confirm the appointment of Councilman Willie Commodell to South Central Planning and Development Commission. And that passes with 9 votes. Congratulations. Okay. 2024-0035, a resolution appointing a member to the River Parishes Transit Authority. The council chairman will accept nominations to the River Parish Transit Authority to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Mr. Corey Fauché. The term is to begin immediately and expire January 9, 2028. The term is concurrent with the governing authority. May I have nominations? Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Mr. Corey Fauché.
All right. Is there anyone else like to nominate? Okay. So I have Mr. Corey Fauché as our nominee. I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have one by Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Wilson. Please cast your votes to close nominations. All right, that passes with 9 yeas. 2024-0036, a resolution appointing a member to the River Parishes Transit Authority. The council chairman will accept nominations to the River Parish Transit Authority to fill the vacancy caused by the expiration of the term of Mr. Emile Broussard III. One member is appointed by the Parish Council, chosen from a list of nominees, one submitted by the River Region Chamber of Commerce, and one submitted by the AFL-CIO. The term to begin immediately and expire January 9, 2028. The term is concurrent. Each commissioner must be domiciled within the parish from which they live. The River Region Chamber of Commerce submitted Mr. Emile Broussard III. The AFL-CIO submitted Mr. John Gross. If any council member would like to provide a nomination from the above, please request to speak. And once recognized, please unmute your microphone, state your name, and the nomination for the record. Ms. Fonseca.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Mr. Emile Broussard III.
All right. I have Mr. Emile Broussard III. Is there anyone else in nominations? Okay, I need a motion and a second to close nominations. I have a motion by Ms. Fonseca, second by Ms. Skiba. Please cast your votes to close nominations. that passes with 9 yeas. Okay. Wasn't too bad. We got through that pretty fast. Okay, meetings, announcements, notices, etc. Meetings, the Community Action Advisory Board, Wednesday, January 10th, 2024, 5 p.m. in the council chambers. Planning and Zoning Commission, Thursday, January 11th, 2024, 6 p.m. council chambers. The Library Board of Control, Tuesday, January 16th, 2024, 6 p.m. council chambers. The Board of Adjustment, ZBA, Thursday, January 18th, 2024, 6 p.m. the council chambers. And St. Charles Parish Council meeting Monday, January 22nd, 2024, 6 p.m. in the council chambers. Our parish holiday will be Monday, January 15th, 2024, in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. O'Daniel, second by Mr. Carmadell. Please cast your votes to adjourn. We are officially adjourned with 9 yeas. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you.